Hi, welcome to DOL, Dignity of Labor KTC series, Know the Course. And today we have Tanuruchi with us, who is an architecture graduate with us. Hi, Tanuruchi.
Hi Mahendra,
How are
thank
you
you.
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. Thanks a lot for accepting the invitation. So, just to quick start, can you briefly give us a introduction to the viewers about how did you choose architecture? What was the exam that you have given? Yeah.
Okay, so I graduated in 22. So I
Mhm.
joined architecture in 2017.
Yeah.
So it's a 5-year course, and I wanted to be an architect since I was a child. I don't know how it came to me, but it did. And so it was like a long dream which I chased. So for architecture, when you're preparing for your plus two,
Hmm.
and just like you write JE mains, say if
Yeah.
you're a science student, but architecture field is also open to people who have just commerce and stuff like that. So maths is compulsory. So
Okay.
right, when you write mains for engineering, you write paper one, right? So additionally for architecture, there's a second paper that's called JE mains paper two. So that has aptitude, some sketching skills, and maths mainly. So
Okay.
similarly, so that's paper number one for your architecture. The second paper is when you write paper one for JE mains, you can clear advanced, and then there's something called AAT, Architecture Aptitude Test. So that is for IITs. Okay, like you can get into
Yeah.
IIT Kharagpur or say IIT Roorkee. So that is for IITs which offer architecture, you have to clear advanced and then sit for Architecture Aptitude Test as well. And the third one is NATA.
Hmm.
So NATA is another exam which is widely accepted in a lot of colleges in India, say colleges which do not come under JEE mains paper 2, and a lot more other private colleges also, they accept through NATA. And other than that, like few states have their own exam criteria, so you have to do that own exam thing, and then you have to sit for NATA as well. So three major exams, that is JEE mains paper 2, NATA, and mains plus advanced plus architecture aptitude test. So
That,
those are the
that's
three ways we
that's a
can get
big
in.
list of exams for getting into the dream colleges that everyone agreed. So congratulations on getting through the architecture and all.
Yes, exams, but it,
Yeah.
it doesn't vary a lot from each other. That is what,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Same like how
So
science people have their multiple exams for different other colleges.
yes. So that's how it goes. Like for NATA and for JEE mains paper two also, you're studying the same thing. You're studying maths, you're studying aptitude, and you are doing some sketching. So now the thing is, sketching is not like major. It's basics of just like how to learn how to draw basically. So it's not
Okay.
very difficult. You can't really not like you have to prepare for all the three separately. You can prepare at one go. That is the thing.
Okay. So there is a myth that you need to be an artist for becoming an architecture student. Is it yes or no?
No, I think that is not true. Like I had a lot of people in my batch who came from, who were trying to actually do engineering, but things did not work out for them, and then they
Hmm.
somehow got came into architecture, right? So I think the first year of the course really focuses on how you can, you know, train your mind to think more creatively, and
Hmm.
then you just learn how to express it through the medium of say sketching or making some models. So that is a 1 year of training in just how to hold a pencil, how to sharpen your pencil, or how to even draw straight lines. So ultimately it comes to everyone. Like I
Okay.
know people who have joined as really has never sketched in their life, probably got
Hmm.
their assignments done by someone else in school, but by the end
Okay.
of 5 years they were great at it.
Okay. That's good to hear that you can easily progress if you have the intention and dedication towards it.
So you asked,
How
how
do
would
you
you
define
describe architecture to me?
architecture? Yes, correct.
Yeah. So I would define architecture as a field that just helps you reimagine places and spaces the way you want to see them. Like
Hmm.
once you get into the course, you will understand that there is no limitation to your imagination, provided
Correct.
you are in the correct place.
Hmm.
And yes, engineering is very important. Through the course also you will learn about it, but uh, imagination backed up by logic is what makes reality, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is a similar situation when it comes to architecture. So you dream of something, and then with a little help you can actually make it reality. It can start with designing your own room because you want to see it differently, but
Hmm.
how do you do it? You don't really have the knowledge or the say experience to
Yeah.
create a room of yourself. You don't know what space you require, you don't know what size of a particular thing should be, right?
Hmm.
So, as a user, how you want to make things functional for yourself and aesthetic for yourself, And when you start applying all of those things and you come to a conclusion, I think you are becoming an architect. So that is how it would go.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Like that really made sense to a newbie like me as well. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So like as per you, what are the prerequisites that one should have? Like, if I want to be an architecture, want to aim to become an architecture, like if at all you have these one or two things that you can think about it.
I wouldn't say there's anything to get ready with. Like, see, if you were, there's nothing you need to look forward to. Like, this doesn't work like how it was when you were in high school, or it doesn't work as similar to how it even works for engineering students. Like, even in my college, we had engineering as well as architecture.
Correct.
So they were doing similar things, maths, assignments, tests, and all of that. Like, it's a continuation from the school, just that the level of it probably enhances.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But when you join first year as an architecture student, you learn how to say draw straight lines. So our first assignments was this dot assignments where you have to properly place one dot 1 centimeter away from each other in a whole A1 size sheet maybe.
Okay.
But that's how they start developing you. Like you start from nothing when you join architecture. Like see, when you're preparing for JEE mains and advanced and stuff like that, you will prepare maybe some aptitude, some sketching, some color sense. Those things will come, but it comes slowly. See, if you're good at sketching, or say if you're learning how to sketch, that is one plus because it really helps you communicate later. And further, nowadays the basic work, the main work always goes with softwares. So there's AutoCAD, there's some modeling softwares and things like that. But in my opinion, you don't have to really know any of this before college. It comes with time and it will go ahead accordingly. So I think what maybe if you want to really start brushing on something, you can probably just start understanding dimensions, like this is 1 meter, this is 2 meter. I think that would help you. You will ultimately develop it, but that is something you can just focus on sketching and directions, what is north, what is south, what is west. Get familiar with these things and scales. Yeah, that is what I told you. It's important. Like
yes, that's
so, yeah,
agreed totally. So like apart, like unlike engineering, architecture is a 5-year course, right? And during these 5 years of course, what are the kinds of subjects that you guys would deal in? Like, just major ones, because in 5-year course, you'll have a lot more subjects, like maybe 60 or 80 subjects. But if you bucket them into 3 or 4, what would be those?
So I think it is majorly one part of it would be design. So design is the main subject of architecture, which we call architectural design. That is one subject where you will be like making buildings. If I put it in simple words, you will be making a museum, you will be making a library. So that is one major part of the course. Other than that, if you look at a building, then you have all these supporting features, say plumbing, lighting, some AC work. So all that section combined would be one section.
Okay.
Then there's this ethics and professional practice, towards the environment, towards your colleagues, towards the society. So a bunch of that subject you will have. And early on, you will have some understanding of, say, history of how architecture started. And throughout your 5 years, you will see that developing. Like you will start from Roman architecture to you will study about what is happening in 2024 and which great architects are working on it. So the history, the entire background, keeping up with the trends, that is also an important part of architecture.
Then, according to you, what is the toughest exam or the course that you had in your 5 years of degree?
So for us, like I told you, the subject design, right? Oh, I actually missed a very important part. So there's something called building science and construction, building construction and materials. So that is also one subject you will have throughout 5 years. So that will teach you about the building, understanding of materials, how a column is, how a pillar is coming, let's say, or how a window is coming, how to draw those things. So that is also very important. So I think the most challenging was the first. I think architectural design is the most challenging thing because everything is your own input. You have to sleep at night and come up with a beautiful idea in the morning to work with. So that is one of the most challenging tasks that doesn't come to you so easily. And okay, even fine, you have an imagination. Now you have to start making sure, okay, this is 1 meter, that is 2 meter, that is 5 meters. You have to put it together. Oh no, I need a lift here. Oh, I need a stairs here. So to bring all of that together, I think initially we all struggled, but yeah, that learning that is a difficult part.
And we
Once
also
you get a
hear,
home,
and we also hear that, your exam duration increases as and when you grow into, first year, third year, fifth year. Is it so?
yeah. So that's a funny thing. So architectural design,
Hmm.
it has 10 credits per semester, like,
Okay.
and other subjects have like 2 credits, 3 credits or so. So
Hmm.
we actually focus a majority of our attention on that
Yeah,
subject itself.
agreed. Yeah.
And say the total paper is 100 marks. Now
Hmm.
70 marks is only internals, like with our
True.
juries, reviews, some
Yeah,
maybe assignments. So 70% of it you have already concluded during the semester. Now we
correct.
have this one exam, which is 30 marks, right?
Yeah,
And in your first year, it's a 2-hour exam. In your
yeah.
second year, it's a 3-hour exam. In your third year, it's a like as in your third year, it's a morning and afternoon 6-hour exam.
6 hour exam. Yeah.
Okay, in your fourth year, it goes for 12 hours, so 2 days. You're writing the same exam for 2 days. Then in your fifth year, you're writing the same exam for 3 days. So that is
Okay.
the design exam, right? So you actually get to design an entire building. So they give you that 3 days of time to sit and that too, it
Literally
has to
make
be
that.
drawn. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's drawn on paper. We are not using software. Everything is sketched out, and
Yeah.
technical drawings. That's what we have. So
That's
that's a little stressful, but I think slowly you just get to relax. Like, okay, fine, now is lunch. After lunch, I will do this. So slowly you
okay.
get a hang of that as well.
And you obviously manage yourself according to the timelines that have been given to you. Totally agreed. Yes.
I mean, the person who formulated this entire exam actually was very thoughtful. They decided,
Yeah.
like, okay, let's start with 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, and then they just kept
Correct.
increasing the scale.
That's nice. So assume there is one of the toughest exam for me. Okay, if I am an architect student. So what are the avenues that you guys will have? Like, apart from the college library and all, do you have a specific course material somewhere or any reference videos that you guys go through? What are the ways that you guys overcome any of the toughest exams or concepts maybe?
So it's really strange. I can't remember the name of this book, but there is something like I think it's called Theory of Architecture or Principles of Architecture, either one. But it's written by D.K. Ching. I still remember the name of the writer. I
Okay,
just
yeah, that
can't
will
remember.
suffice.
So
Yeah.
that's your handbook, okay? Like from the day you join architecture till your rest of your life, you're
Life.
supposed to keep a copy of that along with you. Anytime you forget your basics, you're supposed to open that up and just go through it. So the first year, these subjects, the sketching, say these principles, they just like kind of create a foundation for you to understand the course that is coming further on. So that one handbook is your book forever. And there are things like new firts and time savers. So these books are standards. Like later on, you will need to use them as and when you design.
Okay,
So these books
that's
are very important. Yeah,
that's nice.
they have.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So generally, whenever someone gets into a course of 5 years, and you have to have, everyone will have a plan of action that, by first year and what should be the target or second year. So if an ideal architecture student comes to you and asks you, Tanurishi, I want to join architecture. If I want to have a great future, what would you guide them that, by end of first year you should be good in this and you have a great CGPA? Is there any bookish formula that you will suggest to the viewers?
I think there's no formula as such. Architects are more, I don't know, maybe it's a very personal opinion, but we become very kind of artists at heart,
Okay.
When you join the course, you will slowly come through it. I think it is important. Of course, good marks is important everywhere. If you're going for
Yeah.
a job interview, say for some nice company, there is a certain cutoff. Even I am aware, like if you're writing for PSUs, there's a certain cutoff for
Cut
even
off. Yeah.
architecture students, right? So for things like that, it is always important that you have, like, you try to achieve a good grade, say 8 or so at least. So if you have that in one semester, you are consistent for the rest few semesters. So say
Yeah.
8.5 is something you should try to achieve, as
True.
in that's general for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, architecture works, it's all about skills. Okay, so skills, when I say, a major part of it would be your software skills. So you have to start with the basics, maybe AutoCAD and SketchUp, and then you have to be up to date with what is the new software that's coming. Like nowadays there's this trend of Revit and Rhino
Yeah.
and BIM
Right.
modeling and things like that, right? So you have to keep yourself updated. So for me, I did it that way. Like when I was in first year, I learned AutoCAD and SketchUp, and that sufficed me for that
Yeah.
year. Then
Yeah.
coming year, I moved on to Revit, which is a
Yeah.
much more friendlier software as compared
Yeah.
to doing AutoCAD and SketchUp. But if you go, maybe I don't know, maybe if you go to Revit directly, it'll be difficult for you to cope with
Uh-huh.
it, or
Yeah.
maybe it will not. But I don't know. Our seniors guided us that way, and then we just took it
Yeah.
step by.
Yes.
Then
Agreed.
Then by the time you're in third year, you're definitely your own person, and you have found a certain set of interests for yourself. So you want to focus on that. So a lot of people really like playing with graphics in architecture, so they focus on that. Some people, they just want to model, do a lot more modeling,
Okay.
make some Zaha Hadid kind of building. So they focus on that. Uh, so what you should focus on is upping your skills, modeling, or say even communication. That is a very important part if you
True.
want to be an architect. To be able to convince people of your design, that is
I
a
know.
very important part. So you should focus on your talking skills always. How how to mold the person in front of you. That should also come to you. And other than that, you should focus on internships. As in, it doesn't have to be like you don't have to intern at architect fees contractor. But so there's one compulsory internship which you have in your fourth year or your final year. That is
Yeah.
as per your college. So that's for 6 months. That's a mandatory internship. That's one semester is just given for that internship. It's a part of
Sure.
your course, right? Other than that, when you have the summer vacations and stuff, you can also focus on getting internships for yourself. You can probably do it with some professor as a research
Yeah. Associate or
scholar,
assistant. Yeah. Yeah. Scholar. Yes.
yeah, associated or yeah, something like that. Or you can find your field of interest. You can do it in any firm, literally. It can be an architecture firm. If you like graphic designing, you can also do it there. But just something that just keeps adding to your career, having some work experience, having the experience of sitting in an office and working, talking to your colleagues, maybe talking to clients. Go to
Yeah.
sites, visiting sites, just make some interest of yourself, go visit some sites that is there, see some
Okay.
construction happening. So it builds a lot of questions in your mind. So these things you should try to do when you are doing during the course. Then there's competitions. There's a lot of design competitions. Students actively participate in this one competition called NASA. So all over India, I think it's National Association for the Students of Architecture. So yearly, there's a lot of different trophies up based upon your interest. You can find that your college can apply. You can apply with your friends. And other than
Yeah.
that, also there's a lot of other design competitions you can be a part of. So that is something extra you take up, but in the long run, it is yours and it helps you to learn better,
Agree.
meet some more people. Creating a community is also very important. So even when
Yes.
you're in your own college, you should always look out to being connected with your seniors, being connected with your alumni, being connected with some fellow students from other colleges. So
Yes.
the more you learn, the more you experience. That's what adds up to your resume. So you
Yeah.
should probably just focus on all of that.
Okay. That's nice. So, like, assume after the 5 years, of course, what are the general options or the destinies that, one architecture will look into? Like, I have heard people going into doing their post-graduation in NID, or, they want to pursue more of a post-graduation architecture or directly joining a firm. So how does your, popular choices look like for an architecture student?
So this is going to be a little bit of a wide explanation, but
No worries. Yes.
so I'll tell you how it works. Like people who join architecture, I think about only about 50% of the class would have deliberately joined architecture. For
Agreed.
others, it would for 25% it's because they didn't get into engineering or medical. The other 25% is because they wanted to do designing, but they could not. Probably the parents didn't agree for them to become an artist as such. So they thought architecture is my way out. So these are the three broad categories of people who would join college in first year.
Correct.
Now slowly slowly when it builds a different character for everybody altogether.
True
Okay,
that.
so now when slowly you're into the course, especially once you have hit the internship thing, which is for 6 months, you are kind of, I wouldn't say you're sure about what you want to do in your future, but you're kind of decided that okay, this is my point of interest, I would like to take it forward. So I think uh, we are very focused on designing, like as in colors, graphics, and stuff like that. So a lot of people do take that up, say graphic designing, or there's UI UX designing. There's some, you can, it goes further. Some digital media designing kind of a
Okay.
field. I think that is one major field nowadays, and it also has a good pay. So
Yeah.
off subject people would go for that. Then
Okay.
a lot of people, even after doing architecture, they join say fashion, or they join a product design and stuff like that. So they clear exams, they go for masters. That is one way to do it. Or with your Bachelor of Architecture degree, which is also equivalent to a design degree, you can
Yeah.
directly get a job in these fields as well. Maybe you'll
Yeah.
require some certification, some courses, but it's not necessary for you to have a master's just because you want to go into a say very design field. So
Okay.
that's about design. So Then second thing is pure architecture. Say you want to work in architecture itself, you can join architectural firms, right? There's a lot of studio firms that you can join. And second is some people will join corporate firms. Now, when I say corporate firms and studio firms, there's like a lot of difference. Studio firms are the smaller firms. It's more of a, I think, free environment, or more of a learning environment and thing like that. Corporate is corporate, like there is also learning experience and all of that, but it is a little more, say, structured, more tight.
Deadline,
Maybe,
timelines, all those.
yeah, the freedom is kind of limited. But when you're in a studio firm, you are working only with architects. When you're in a corporate, there's a lot of people involved. It's a whole scenario of architects, engineers, consultants, and all of that. And the third thing is a lot of people go for the PSUs, government jobs. So while you are in architecture, while you're doing architecture, and say you are from a nationally recognized college, say you're from IIT or NIT or equivalent colleges. So PSUs also happen to hire during while you are graduating without your GATE scorecard. So they will they will approach your college, and then you can take it further that way. The other way you can do is you can always prepare for GATE. So GATE is your master's entrance exam for architecture. After that, you can join masters in architecture, or you can also opt to again apply to PSUs using your GATE scorecard to get a job there. Right. So that is one option. I know a few people who just go forward with it and open their own architecture studios as soon as they graduate. They already, so the thing about learning and upping your skill and doing this design competition and doing your projects properly, it all comes to you making a portfolio. So when you are an architect, all an person is going to see is what you have in your portfolio. Whether that is for you getting hired, for whatever reason it is, you need a portfolio. So all of by the time they're making that portfolio, they have already done a few good projects themselves, which are, say, real projects. So they are more confident about having an entire clientele and having a firm of their own. And I also know people who take up college placements and they can just get analyst jobs, marketing jobs, and all of that. That is also possible. So there's a wide range of opportunity once you finish the course.
That's good to hear. So assume if someone has to go to a corporate or take a campus placement, so how does their growth strategy look like? Growing, how do they grow? Like, will they be paid so much, or what is the salary range that they get? Is it like, will they be leaving out the core architecture and be working in the firm as what their guidelines has? Is it limited amount of scope? How does that you take it?
No, so one thing is, if you're looking out for college placements, then mostly studio firms are not important. They are not involved at all, right? So it is mostly MNCs and larger firms that will be coming down to your college to hire you. So in such a case, your CGPA is important. What marks you have is important, because they have a whole shortlisting procedure where they will allow only someone above a 7 CGPA to sit. So you have to prepare for all of that. The ultimate call is always your interview and your portfolio. But what I would say is, if you're getting a college placement also into an architecture MNC, it doesn't compare anything like to a CSE graduate salary or anything like that. It is going to be much, much lesser. And even in that case, it will not be, say, a pure architecture firm, as in it will be an architecture firm, but more like a construction, real estate, infrastructure kind of company. Like, to name a few, maybe you would be getting into L&T or something like that. So you are going to be an architect there. You will be designing, but it's just in a corporate situation. So that is one thing.
So then what are the, assume if someone has to have a, dream company, like, what are the dream companies that architect students will aim to? Like, assume if they fix their destiny that I want to join a corporate MNC. So which are the top 5 firms that you would say, like, these are the best firms to work, or, good to have to start their career?
So if you're a passionate architect, I would say you would actually look out at more foreign firms, maybe not just India. But to start with, I think a lot of people look forward to joining Architect Hafiz Contractor. So that's not international. That's a firm in Mumbai itself, but they have a huge team, and it's a good learning opportunity when you're starting off as a fresher. That's what I've heard of. And there are better firms. So if you talk about corporate, you can join L&T, you can join KCOM, you can join Atkins, RCOP, to name a few. There's WeWork. So these are few firms you can join, and then there are some.
Quite a bit of firms. Like, we have quite a lot of dream companies. So, like, in the recent days, like when you said in your course structure, you learn about softwares like CAD and other applications that you have been sketch up all this. So due to this Gen AI or everything coming out of a prompt in ChatGPT and all, do you feel that there is quite a bit of ease for architects to view the imagination through these technology?
I definitely think so. Honestly, like
Mhm.
when you are putting an input, and at least when you're in the initial stages, like slowly you develop, you learn to exactly see what you have in your mind. But
Right.
when you are, say in your first year, third year of architecture, even that time that imagination gets a little difficult. To put things into
Correct.
your own mind may be difficult sometimes. But now that you have these things where you can type a sentence and then
Mhm.
see what something
Yeah.
feels like, I think that is definitely helpful. But again, during the course, I think it would be better to not depend on AI. Like
Yeah.
you learn to do that for yourself for a while, and then maybe you can rely on AI. That is
Okay.
important for
Yeah.
people.
So Dhanushi, it's great discussing with you all this. Like, what would be the last advice or guidance that you want to give to all the aspiring architecture aspirants?
I think if you are aspiring to do architecture, then at least for your course, you should be ready. As in, it is a very, I wouldn't say draining, but it is pretty exciting. But you will have your low days, and you will have your really high days.
Okay.
And it's not like writing an exam paper, studying your entire syllabus and getting good marks. That's not how this works. You will be critically judged on a lot of criterias during this time. So you have to really start this course with a really open mind to
Okay.
accept your faults. Like I have seen during my course, like people who have been toppers in their school and suddenly they get a 6 out of 10, they lose their mind. But that's not the thing. That you will get a lot of 6 out of 10s, and then one day you will get that you
10
will
out
never
of
get a 10
10.
out of 10, but maybe you will get an 8 out of 10,
8 of 10.
and you
Yeah,
will be
agree.
so happy about it. But I think after that 5 years, when you are coming to the real world, again,
Hmm.
that's when you will realize that what I've done in 5 years has just been for self satisfaction, and now this is an entire different world altogether. So again,
Agreed.
then you have to be ready for that phase also. Like it doesn't really match your imagination, but I would say it's a very satisfying course. It
Hmm.
shapes you to be the person maybe you were supposed to be, or what.
Okay. So according to you, what are the niche, career options that one architect will have in the coming future?
So architecture is a wide term. Okay, now this field needs support from various other firms to actually make a building fully functional. So
Correct.
I think for me, I work as a facade consultant. So that is
Hmm.
the niche I chose to follow. So I
Okay.
think one very popular nowadays. So at the end of your course, these are all small subjects you'll be studying. But at the end of your course, if you're looking for better pay and say stuff like that, you can always opt for options like this. So you can go for there's landscape architecture. Then I work as a consultant. I work as a facade consultant, but there's a lighting consultant, there's a lightning consultant even, and then there's some MEP consultants, landscape, and say interior. I mean, that is one entire part of the building that goes to somebody else. A few of my friends are even more, say, structurally involved, or few are more. There's this estimation and costing kind of a job profile also, which is out there. So
Yeah.
as an architect, you can be all in everything, or ultimately you are going to work along sidelines with some consultants, and you can be that consultant as well. So
Okay.
these are few things also to look out for. Or there's other things also. You can go for, say, you can be a decorator, event decorator kind of a thing. And so recently, a friend of mine, she was organizing this Ambani wedding at Jamnagar, so she was involved in the entire decorations and thing.
That's
Like
nice.
her firm was. So there's always things like this. So once you join the course, it's 3 years down the line, you feel like, this is not my thing. I just want to make it clear that there's a lot of things in the thing. So find a space for yourself and just don't quit. Push through it. That would
Yeah.
be what I was trying to say.
Nice.
I mean, if you're interested in history also, you
Hmm.
can go for some conservationalist kind of a role or something like that.
Okay.
So it has to do with art, heritage, and maintaining things. There's this architect called Abhan Naren Lamba, if I'm not wrong, that's the name. So
Okay.
you can look her up. She, revives old buildings better and stuff like that. So there are these things you can look out at. So generally, you would do a master's in that, but they very open-heartedly accept bachelor, students who have just graduated and are interested in the field as well. And then you can go into research, you can go into journalism, you can go into photography, architectural
Hmm.
photography, architectural journalism, architectural writing. So there's like a lot of things. So
Yeah,
you need to find a space for yourself. That is important.
that's nice. Thanks.
Yeah.
So, if at all someone has decided to do a post-graduation degree after their bachelor's in architecture, what are the colleges that they should aim? And in India or abroad, whichever the choice that, as per your perspective.
So I think in India, mostly if you're applying through GATE, people should aim for IITs or SPA nowadays. All of these SPAs, they have really good courses, and
Mm-hmm.
a few NITs also have some courses. But I think what is catching right now is the courses that IITs and SPAs are offering. That is what people are going from for mainly. These are mainly courses in say some designing courses maybe, or also let's say some management kind of courses. A lot of people are doing construction management and project management and things like that
Okay.
other than core architecture. So similarly, some international colleges are also there. So
Okay.
I'm very much aware, but there's TU Delft and places like that. A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people have been studying that I know of,
And
or UK maybe.
yeah, and do you know
Yeah.
anything like how is the entrance for NID National Institute of Design? Do people from architecture also aim to go to these colleges?
After graduation, you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I know people who have joined NID, Ahmedabad, and Bangalore. I'm not particularly sure which courses they have joined, but a lot of
Okay.
people have.
Okay. Cool. Thanks a lot for all your insightful, the insightful discussion and your suggestions and guidance for the architecture aspirants, Tanuchi. Thanks a lot for having you here.
Thank you. It was very nice speaking.
Thanks a lot for all the viewers who have watched this episode of DOL. We would love to hear your feedback through comments. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to DOL. If you have any further queries, please reach out to us through email, LinkedIn, or TalkMate. We have attached the links below in the description. Thanks a lot.